Coming up on SCVTV's Community Corner, travel back in time and immerse yourself in history as the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society previews the annual and highly anticipated St. Francis Dam Tour.
And calling all book lovers, hear all about this year's featured One Story, One City book selection.
Include Everyone Project is back to tell us all about their exciting and adaptive spring programs available for our special needs community.
Plus, meet a very lovable pup from Golden Years Dog Sanctuary who's ready for a forever home.
And in This Week in Santa Clarita, learn the right way to pull to the right for lights and sirens.
Stay tuned. SCVTV's Community Corner starts right now. Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley, to SCVTV's Community Corner. I'm Deputy Robert Jensen, filling in for Dave Caldwell.
And I'm Carrie Lujan, and this show is all about you, Santa Clarita, the nonprofits, the schools, our local government, and the amazing people who make up our wonderful community. And we have a great episode lined up for you today.
That's right, Carrie. We have the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society here today to tell us about its popular and immersive St. Francis Dam annual lecture and tour. The Include Everyone project is also here to preview their fun, exciting, and inclusive programs for their upcoming spring sessions. And we will meet a lovable pup looking for his forever family.
We also have the city of Santa Clarita here to give us a sneak peek at this year's One Story, One City book selection. Plus, in this week's episode of This Week in Santa Clarita, our guest host, Deputy Jensen, tells us how to get out of the way the right way when you see emergency vehicles with flashing lights. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Nothing like Dave Caldwell, but I'm honored to be sitting in and filling in the seat.
Well, we appreciate you being here. We want to learn more about you. How did you come to be the Public Information Officer for the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station?
It is an honor, let me tell you. We have such an incredible community, and so to get to be kind of the bridge between their information and what's going on with the Sheriff's Department and kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and be a little bit of that transparency for the community is awesome. So I started out as a deputy working in the custody facility in Castaic. Was there for a short time, transferred to Lancaster Sheriff Station up in the Antelope Valley, and then was able to come down and come back to my hometown and serve the city of Santa Clarita. So I've been there for about 3 years, I think now.
Okay, so you grew up in Santa Clarita?
I did, yep.
What high school? We have to know.
I actually went to Santa Clarita Christian School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then?
And then from there, Masters University.
Okay, so you're just Santa Clarita,
hometown.
born and bred, and back here. And so what does it mean to get to serve your hometown where you grew up?
It's a privilege, and it's crazy, too, to think through, especially working as a public information officer. I grew up with fires coming through our community, and I grew up doing the junior lifeguard program at Castaic Lake and working at the aquatic center and having a blast doing those things. So to now be in a position where I'm able to partner with those agencies and work alongside them is truly awesome.
So you also do fun things for the station. I mean, you're a serious guy, you're a deputy, you have to present as professional.
I'm only serious.
Serious thing.
All the time.
But you hosted a super fun event, which I was very, very honored to be part of. Tell us what this was.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so one of the beauties of working in Santa Clarita is we have so many people that live here and work here, right? And so the public service agencies are no exception to that. So we have fire, CHP, sheriff. We have an incredible team, obviously, from the city. And then we have a lot of really great local businesses that want to support both law enforcement and fire. So we hosted our command post poll, which is an event that Captain Diaz kind of pioneered a couple years ago, where we take 5 people and hook the 5 of them up to our command post, and they have to pull our, I think it's 27,000 pound command post, 30 yards, and then we do it for time and compete against each other. So there's always a rivalry. If you're paying attention to the cities or our socials, you'll see there's constant events that we're doing to kind of boost morale amongst our station and our agencies, but then also kind of show not just each other, but also the community how good of a partnership we actually have with the fire department and with these other agencies. So we did a Sky Tower challenge not too long ago where we raced against the other departments to the top of the Sky Tower. And so this was kind of falling in line with that. So we competed.
The donut eating,
the
belly
eating contest.
flop
I did not participate because you said, like you said, I'm very, I get
very professional.
Yeah, very professional. I did not participate in the donut eating contest. That's every day. So it was a good time. So
well, and And we had the all women's team from the city.
Yes,
And
you did.
We knew
the Power Princesses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
that was
you're
the
correct.
name of their team.
Because we know that we probably weren't going to be the fastest or the quickest, but there was a prize for best costume. So I'm like, that we absolutely can.
Oh, absolutely.
And getting out there was a moment, I'm not going to lie, of extreme fear. Like, we're not going to be able to get to move this thing at all. It's just going to stay there.
Everybody has that first like half second where it's like, uh-oh, we're pulling, nothing's happening. But you know, with the team momentum, it works.
That's my team.
And isn't life like that sometimes? It's just great.
Sometimes you just got to get the ball rolling and then it takes off.
Please tell me you guys have photos. I hope somebody's looking at photos right now.
Videos
Okay,
and photos
perfect.
and happening. And I found out a secret, and I don't know if you already knew this, but I believe that there was some very excessive training taking place over at the Drink Pack facility. Who came in first?
So Drink Pack, one of our local businesses, this was their debut like participation in any event like that. And it was actually a good friend of mine who I reached out to at Drink Pack, and I was like, hey, you guys should come up with a team. And he'd been wanting to get involved in the Sheriff's Foundation that we have. And so I was like, yeah, why don't you come out? And I'm thinking, deputies, firefighters, the city team that won last year.
Won last year?
Yes, a shout out to the city team.
Yeah.
We got destroyed. I mean, these guys I don't know what they were. I don't know what, it was Drink Pack. I don't know what kind of energy drink we had going on over there, but it was insane.
Well, I have to say, I know they have a bunch of trucks over there. So I think there was practicing.
There's very well could have been.
Because they took off and that thing was rolling. Like,
crazy.
It was amazing.
It was like 17 seconds, I think.
Yeah, no,
it was sub 17.
It was incredible. Yeah. So we need to keep that in mind for future competitions. Yeah. And I think I mentioned this to you, that the city is actually getting a mobile command unit. And not to brag, but I think it's going to be bigger than yours. So anyways, we're going to have a bowling competition for that to see, and there will be practicing.
You know what?
By the Power Princesses.
I'm going to take that and I'm going to one-up you one more time and say, why don't we also throw in a kids event and do some kind of kids poll so that we can invite community members to join.
I love that.
I think that'd be good, especially if we do it with the city's.
We'd have to get a bunch of kids to move that thing.
Yep. Okay. Or just like,
Okay,
like
you guys could be in the
kids.
back, maybe like just giving a little push where they can't see.
Yeah, I heard there was some help that we gave the Power Princesses from the fire department.
No,
wasn't?
No, that was all.
The fire department didn't decide to come and push the Power Princess bus?
No, that was all. Don't even. We did that.
We
have video. We have drone footage. Roll it. We did that all on our own.
I like it.
Yes,
well done.
yes. But seriously, you also want to talk about a drug take back event that you guys are happening.
Yeah. So we I love that you mentioned like the silliness of our ability to kind of partner with these
and then immediately turn.
But then it is kind of our job, right? And it's your job as well, Carrie. We kind of have to flip that switch and remind the community like, no, we're here to serve you. And so one of those things is our National Drug Take Back event, which we partner with the DEA. And we have a couple local nonprofits that assist us as well. And really all that is a day where you're able to actually come in and bring expired or unused medications from your closet or your medicine chest or whatever it is, and deposit them in a safe way so that they don't end up in the wrong hands. Even sometimes just family members just not sure what medications are and things can go awry, and we've seen that. So the DEA has this incredible event where they're sitting out there collecting medications that are unused or expired and really can help make a positive impact as far as collecting those medications. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. April 27th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be out in front of the sheriff's station there on Golden Valley.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me again.
We'll get to it. All right. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. On March 12th, 1928, just before midnight, the St. Francis Dam, which was located in San Francisco Canyon, suffered a catastrophic failure. The devastating flood that followed claimed more than 400 lives and left a path of destruction 2 miles wide and 70 miles long, far enough to reach the Pacific Ocean.
That tragic night, along with the events that led to the downfall of William Mulholland, yes, that Mulholland, forever changed the way dams were designed and built. These pivotal moments are the focus of the gripping and widely popular St. Francis Dam Lecture and Tour, an event that also serves as the premier fundraiser for the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society.
And here to give us an exclusive preview of this now sold-out event are Carol Rock, Marketing Director for the Historical Society, and her husband Frank Rock, historian and leading expert on the St. Francis Dam disaster. Carol and Frank, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having us. This is great.
Of course.
Carol, let's start with you. For those who are first-time viewers, can you tell them about the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society and why this organization is so crucial in preserving our history here in Santa Clarita?
Of course. 50 years ago, in 1975, a group of concerned citizens worried that we were going to lose what history we had, got together and formed the society. One of the first things we tried to do is correct some of the inaccuracies, like on the gold discovery and things like that. But we grew to getting buildings together. We moved the Saugus train station, and we started things like educational things like the dam tour. In 1990. We've been doing it for 35 years, the dam tour. And it's important because people move to town and don't know about the history, or unfortunately, some people that have lived here a long time don't know anything about the history. And this is our way of reaching out and letting them know in a kind of entertaining way. And they learn about history, they learn about what's important.
And you're right, we were just discussing that. I didn't know about it when I first moved here, and I read the book, and I would have loved to go on the tour. But as we mentioned, Frank, it's sold out, which is fantastic news. But for those who have tickets or those who maybe want to go next year, tell us all the details and what they're going to be able to experience.
Well, there'll be a lecture about all the different aspects of what led up to the building of the dam, who was responsible, all the failures of the dam, why it went down, was there a need for the dam, and so forth. And it was 3 miles long. It was a 200-foot tall dam, 700 feet wide, plus another 500 feet of wing dike, which it brought the level of the dam up. It was quite a feat at the time. So
why don't you, if you could, share a little bit about kind of that disaster and some of the interesting facts that came to be with that, especially, I mean, Carrie had mentioned we didn't know, maybe we've seen it or toured and, ridden out there or whatever, but tell us a little bit about that day and why it's so important.
On the date of the dam, it was literally a minute and a half before midnight. And there was a carpenter by the name of Ace Hopewell who was riding his sidecar motorcycle to work. He was going in on the midnight shift. And as he passed the dam on the old San Francisco Canyon Road, which went across the level of the top of the dam, he was about a mile past the dam, and he had heard some rumblings back behind him. And because there are small landslides and such were a normal thing, that's what he thought it was. So he got off his motorcycle, looked down into the water. At that point, he couldn't see that there was any motion. So he got back on, and he went back up to Powerhouse 1, which was about another 3 miles up the canyon. And when he got there, soon after, he found out that he was probably the last person to see the dam in one piece.
Wow.
The last person to see it alive. And so about that time, there was several things going on at the same time. The workers up at Powerhouse 1 working the board got what they call a nibble on the line. There was a short in the power coming to it. And so some power went down and then came on right back up. And so they did tests for about the next half hour, and then they tried to call down Powerhouse 2, but they couldn't get any response. So they sent 2 of the workers down canyon to see what was up. They were able to call back to the powerhouse and said that your lake is gone and the dam is out.
Oh my goodness.
And so they couldn't get down there. So the next morning, they started the rescue operation. But also there was a community at Powerhouse 2. The community, there were 70 people were housed that evening. And as the story goes, the floodwaters came down that night. There was this one woman who was awakened by a huge mist that was coming down the canyon. And so she got up, went out on the porch, and then she ran back in to tell her husband because the water was starting to flow down the canyon stream. And so her husband Okay, the name was Curtis, Lyman and Lillian Curtis. He went out on the porch and told her to get her little boy Daniel and jump out the back window, start climbing up the mountain, up the hill. And while he went back in to get their other two daughters, but tragedy struck. It took him and his daughters in the flood. Lillian and Daniel made it up to a fire break, and as she has been recorded saying that she was screaming so loud she couldn't even hear herself because of the rampaging water and all the things that was just.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
It gives me chills just listening to you talk about it. And you guys have both been hosting these tours for years. I know, Frank, you've even been nicknamed the Dam Man. Is that true?
It's the one time this year she can call me the Dam Man.
That's great.
Tell us, I want to ask both of you, what fascinates you so much about this incident in history?
Well, I grew up here, and I always knew about it since I was in elementary school, but never really had been out there. And even when I was in high school, we were in the high school football team had a big party up at the Powerhouse 1. And even at that time, I wasn't sure where it was. Anyway, long story short, Carol and I met, and then we moved here in 1982. And we wanted to get involved with the community. And she had a book on the man-made disaster by Charles Outland.
Yes.
And I picked it up, and I was a junkie about disasters and everything like that. So one day, we're driving through the old San Francisco Canyon that goes right by the ruins, and we looked out the window and automatically recognized the ruins from the pictures in the book. And we just looked at each other and went, whoa. It was just kind of eerie.
Yeah.
And after that, she and I, we both got involved with the Historical Society. For years, I would listen to Jerry Reynolds, our dear historian from years back. He would give a yearly.
It was a slideshow.
It was a slideshow.
Slideshow and lecture about Outland's book, but then he would take people up there and they'd follow along. We didn't do a bus tour then. And then we decided to get buses involved, and that's when the tour really took off. And I was going through some of the old minutes of the Historical Society, and the board voted in 1990 to make it an annual event. So except for a couple years during COVID and a couple years where we got rained out, we've been doing the tour for 35 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I resonate completely with the idea, too. I mean, especially as a first responder, thinking through disasters and that kind of thing. I mean, being prepared is huge. So talk to us a little bit. If I want to go on this tour, what do I need to do to prepare for even the tour? Are there special things I need to bring or wear, or what would that look like?
That's really easy. It's just wear something comfortable to walk in because you're going to go on a mild hike.
Okay.
Wear good walking shoes. Wear sunscreen and bring a hat. We will provide a little lunch snack bag and a bottle of water. Okay. So you're good there. But just be ready to listen and absorb a lot of information. Dr. Pollack is, like Frank said, he's one of the experts on the dam as well. Really good lecturer. Diane Hellriegel is, she's more of a naturalist, kind of in touch with the environment, and can talk about the dam breaks' effect on the environment. Frank is the guy that has been obsessing on this for many, many years, and he's actually done segments on the History Channel, and he's been interviewed by the BBC. So this is his little thing, and I'm really proud of him for it.
And now you've been interviewed by Community Corner, so it all.
Well, yes.
Now this is big time.
Hauser Community Corner. That's
Every base now.
So, Carol, remind everyone why learning and preserving our history is so important, even for these horrific events in history.
It's important that we recognize and remember the things that happened in the past, whether it's a first time for something or just an unusual occurrence, because all of that together makes us what we are as a community. We were affected by the dam disaster by, first of all, the dam industry. They changed the way that they built things. There are more safety things installed after they learned from this dam break. And anything that's happened in the past is just part of your fabric. It's just really important to learn about. That's why we're there at Hart Park in the History Center. And we are looking to open our first museum by the end of the year, the Saugus Train Station Museum.
Cool.
And it'll be just about Southern Pacific and Union Pacific Railroad history. And that's the only line that really came through the Santa Clarita Valley. So that's part of I mean, I don't know anybody that's been on one of those old trains recently. You know, not many people I know go by passenger rail because it takes so long. But it's really interesting to learn about it. So that's one of the segments. Placerita Canyon, the Oak of the Golden Dream. The gold was discovered here before it was discovered in Sutter's Mill. Drives me crazy when I see a movie and somebody goes, "Where was the first gold discovery?" And the kid goes, "Sutter's Mill." And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No."
That's one of those small town facts. You're like, no, that's ours.
Little things, yeah.
Nobody believes it.
Well, it's interesting, digging back through the minutes of the board, I found that Jerry Reynolds, the historian that Frank referred to, once wrote a letter to Great Western Savings because they did a commercial with John Wayne, and he talked about the first gold discovery at Sutter's Mill. And Jerry wrote and said, "Excuse me, sir, this was not at Sutter's Mill. It was here in Placerita Canyon." Told them the story. And so eventually, John Wayne actually went to the people who made the commercial and said, "You know, we kind of need to fix this." And so they redid the commercial.
Have they fixed it yet?
Oh, it was fixed long ago.
Okay, good.
Like in the 70s.
Good,
Yeah.
good. We made sure. Okay, I'm glad
Yes.
to hear that. Okay, well, we mentioned that this event is sold out. So
Yes.
for those who maybe are super interested in this and want to find a way to give back and donate towards this cause, where can we go? Where can we send people?
You can always go to our website, scvhs.org,
Okay.
and there's a donate button right on the front page, our landing page. If you'd like to learn more about the dam, you can always go to scvhistory.com, and that's a repository that we work with SCVTV and the city to put all the pictures, all the stories, all the articles that we've collected, and those are just a click away, and they're free, and you can read until you go down that rabbit hole of dams and takes you elsewhere.
Frank, Carol, Rock, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for what you're doing to keep our history alive here in Santa Clarita.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys for being here.
Thank you.
All right, there's much more to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The William S. Hart Union High School District is an exemplary district located in Santa Clarita, California, a community nestled in North Los Angeles County. The Hart District, rated as one of the top secondary districts in the state of California, strives to make a difference in the lives of our diverse student body by instilling a sense of community, courage, creativity, and caring. We do this by working together to offer high-performing academic programs, championship athletic teams, award-winning performing arts, and a robust career and technical education program. For our teachers and staff, we offer competitive salaries, a great benefits package, and a chance to work with our amazing students. Being in Santa Clarita offers the opportunity to be just minutes from it all. The beach, mountains, desert, close to the excitement of Los Angeles, all while living in a beautiful and safe community. So we invite you to meet with us and think about joining the William S. Hart District family, where we believe in one heart, every student, opportunity ready.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. One of the things I just love about Santa Clarita is that it's home to some incredible nonprofits that provide invaluable resources and programs to bring people together, especially those who may not always feel included.
One of those nonprofits is the Include Everyone Project, which creates a strong sense of community for special needs families through fun, adaptive, musical, and inclusive programs. And with spring sessions and summer camp just around the corner, now is the perfect time to get involved.
And here to tell us how to register for these amazing classes are Executive Director Kristen DiBenedetto and Board President Rodney Dong. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
So Kristen, let's start with you. Tell us about the organization and what you guys do.
So basically what we do is we offer performing arts classes for kids and adults with disabilities or on the autism spectrum. So just anybody whose parents or caretakers might feel a little bit uncomfortable with them, having them in a typical class setting, because everybody deserves the right and the ability to express themselves through the arts. So we wanted to make them a safe space.
That's incredible. Safe spaces are very important. Rodney, why don't you tell us a little bit about what to expect with the spring session coming right around the corner?
Sure. Well, the spring session is a series of once per week classes where they learn music, dance, or theater. And we give them the opportunity to learn some skills on how to use music or dance or theater, and then also how to use it to perform. as well at some point. Our weekly classes eventually feed into our summer camp, which is our other big program, which happens. It's really a lot of fun. And as well as little performances in the community along the way, usually with the city.
So, Kristen, that registration for summer camp is now open. Tell us what's going on and what that's going to look like for the summer.
Summer camp is my absolute favorite part of the entire year.
everybody's favorite,
It
so.
should be, but I mean, it's absolutely stunning, and our kids blow us away every single time. It's always the last 2 weeks of June, and so registration is open now. You can go on our website and register and sign up. But what the day looks like for our campers is it's in the afternoons, and they come in and we do icebreakers, but then we do crafts, we do movement, we do theater, and we do music. And then what they build is a short original one-act play, and then at the last day of the camp, we perform it for the community and for their family. So they get to be on a real stage at the Newhall Family Theater.
Which is just a beautiful setting for something like that.
It's
That's awesome. Now, Rodney, you're not just the board president, but you're also a co-founder along with Kristen. You teach music as well. So tell us a little bit about that. Why is music such an important thing for these kinds of kids?
Yeah, I'm a musician. I'm a music therapist, actually, by profession. But music is so amazing with these kids. In some ways, it's like another language, I think, for the ones who have a hard time verbalizing or communicating. They can play a drum, and they can do something with music where they just get involved with other people. So, you know, together using that with dance and with, you know, improvisational acting, it comes together really well, and the music is often part of the glue that just brings it together, you know, when they're on stage. So I'm really happy to be a part of that and to be able to help out.
Well, and speaking of kids, you've each brought one of your kids to the studio today. They're hanging out backstage, but they had a special message to send to you. So let's take a look at that now.
Oh, I just like everything that we do. We do seasonal classes for kids with disabilities, and then we have a summer camp where we just learn the techniques and practice them, and then we go out and perform it for others.
My favorite memories are the shows that we do because we get on the big stage and dance, seeing out the audience. It's really fun. Just, you know, seeing all of them have fun. Just great experience.
It's really fun. Like just go out and try this one. It's gonna be really fun. You're gonna like it a lot.
So tell us how you have seen your kids and others in the community flourish after being part of your organization.
I think one of my favorite examples is we have one of our OGs, as we call them, and she came into our program and she would not walk in the door. She was in my music class and she just kind of looked in the door and she was like, not doing it. And Mom was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, just have her sit in the door. Just sit in the door, watch the class. And then by the next week, she sat in the back of the class. And then the next week, I handed her streamers and she watched and kind of played. By the third week, she was up dancing with the streamers, fully participating in the thing. So it was just a way for her. It was just going at their pace and meeting them. Yeah, and meeting them where they are and giving them that ability to just be free and be happy and be included.
For me, it's like seeing them once they get onto the stage, especially that moment of when the reality of like we're really on an actual stage in front of people and they just shine. Like every time that they step onto there and we're like, oh God, how's this going to go? You know, like,
Always the question how that's going to go.
You never quite know. This population, as wonderful as they are, they give us a lot of surprises, and they always just step into the moment and they just amaze us, right? They take over the stage, and you see the best side of them come out because it's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've watched all these years, and now I get to do it myself. And then hear the applause afterwards, of course, it's just like, we all need that. So
That's incredible. Yeah. Kristen, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. You talked about working with, you know, one of your students over a period of time. I know for parents with kids with special needs or any kind of, you know, anything, sometimes new environments are really, really tricky. So can you kind of work through that for us? Like if we have a parent who really this sounds super interesting to them, but they're not quite sure, what if my child doesn't like this environment? How do you guys work with those kinds of students?
For camp, we have an orientation day the Friday before camp so that they can come see the spaces and walk through and get used to the sounds and the smells and meet the volunteers and the people they're going to see. So we give them that space and extra time without the pressure of everybody else being there so they can get used to the space. That's one of the things we do. The other thing is they're always free to come observe a class. They don't have to participate. They can always come watch and just see if it's something that feels safe for them. So those are the two main ways. We also have at camp a quiet down area. So we always have a sensory free space where they can, if it's just getting a little bit too much, they can kind of walk away, calm down, come back.
The city's done that as well, I think, with the concerts in the park. They've created that.
We actually help with concerts in the park.
Oh, that's incredible.
So we usually are actually running that sensory tent with the inclusion.
That's incredible. What a cool community partnership there.
Yeah, the city has done a lot for us. We're very grateful to be partners with them.
Well, and you mentioned before we started another program that parents may want to find out about.
Yeah, definitely. So it's great that you guys are here, and it's a good opportunity to tell our viewers about, the special needs registry that we have in LA County, and specifically for Santa Clarita. Are you guys familiar with that? And
yes, it's definitely been. We've been a part of other events where, like special needs resource fairs, where you guys have been there and signed up families, and I think it's just an incredibly necessary program. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for those who don't know, just for those watching, it's essentially a registry where you can go and you can enter your information about your child or your family member, provide a photo, provide allergy information, medical information, and contact information. And it's really helpful in the event, we're at a concerts in the park and we locate a student who's, of a special population. We can check our special needs registry and it'll have all the information there. It's had huge success here, and we've worked with the city to kind of create that and pioneer that for LA County. So we're super thankful. Thank you for helping get the word out about it.
Of course, and thank you for doing it, because it's always being in a situation where you don't know where you are, and getting lost is scary enough, but it's even harder when you don't deal with the surroundings the way a typical little person would. So,
and it's so nice to have that as a security for the parents. When they come to the events like what used to be the Free to Be Me Festival, but now it's Festibility. The parents feel so much more relaxed knowing that there is a way that if my child can't be found here, there's a place we can immediately go to, and it's really important for them to feel comfortable.
Absolutely. And I'm sure parents right now are wondering how they can get more information about the Include Everyone project. Rodney, where can they go?
They can visit our website at www.iepscv.org. They can see us on Facebook.
We're on Facebook, so Include Everyone Project SCV or IEPSCV on Facebook.
Yeah, I love those links. Well, Kristen DeBenedetto, Executive Director, Rodney Dong, Board President for the Include Everyone Project. Thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing kind of what you guys do with us and with the city. So we appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
No problem. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Brooklyn, and I'm here to tell you about a super cool family event happening on March 15th from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
The Sulphur Springs Union School District and the William S. Hart Union High School District are coming together to create a system-wide approach to provide our families with resources at the 9th annual Many Families, One Community Family Resource Fair.
This incredible event is on Saturday, March 15th, 2025. The event starts at 9:30 a.m. and goes until 1:30 p.m. at Golden Valley High School. The kids program starts at 9:30 a.m. and parents will need to register their child before the event. The kids program is for students that are in between the ages of 4 and 13. At the resource fair, there will be some great speakers, workshops, resource booths, and food trucks for lunch. The Sulphur Springs Union School District and William S. Hart Union High School District course will be coming together to kick off our fantastic event, so get there early. Don't forget the food trucks. Hi, I'm Jordan. Did we forget to tell you we will have a free kids program for the first 300 kids? Also, Sulphur Springs School District Chorus will perform an amazing fine line of arts displayed from student work. And finally, fire department demonstrations. Phew, so much cool stuff on that day.
The Kids Club will have so many exciting activities for the kids to do, like an art station, face painting, glow-in-the-dark activity, fun PE activities to do outside, and lastly, participate in a very special visit with the fire department. Sounds awesome!
My parents are needing help with the latest and greatest in technology and how to help me with my homework.
Well, we will have workshops on internet safety and how to be a successful student. My brother and sister want to go to college, and my parents have lots of questions. Guess what? We will have workshops on AG requirements for high school graduation, presented by staff from Golden Valley and Canyon High School. Also, College of the Canyons will have a booth to share resources about what is offered at COC.
Don't forget, we will have a free kids program and food trucks. Just letting you know one more time.
My mom and dad want more information about healthy choices and how to stay healthy.
Yes, we will have various workshops on healthy choices too.
Partnerships and community.
That's what it's all about. We are excited to offer this incredible community event coming up on Saturday, March 15th, 2025. Event starts at 9:30 a.m. for all of you.
This is going to be a must-come event. So much awesomeness going on and so many resources to help and assist families. Mark your calendar and don't miss it.
See you there!
And welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner, calling all bookworms. Do you need a new read to add to your repertoire? The Santa Clarita Public Library's One Story, One City is here. This month-long event brings book lovers together through shared reading experiences, thought-provoking discussions, and immersive activities, all centered around one featured book.
That's right, Deputy Jensen. And this year's selection is a good one. Here to tell us all about this year's enchanting book and what to expect from this year's One Story, One City activity lineup is Morgan Lazo from the Santa Clarita Public Library. Welcome back, Morgan.
Thank you, Carrie. It's always good to be back. I enjoy this so far.
Well, before we get into the details of this year's selection, remind everyone again about One Story, One City.
Sure. So One Story, One City is a month-long celebration almost that we put together every month of March. This year is our 10th year, by the way. Oh. Yeah, time flies. And we essentially take one book and we will program around it for the month of March so that we can bring the community together around shared experiences and a shared story.
That is such a great idea. I think that's awesome that the city does that. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about the book that was chosen for this event?
Yes, so this year's book is called The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina, and it's by author Zoraida Cordova.
She says it beautifully.
Wow, well done. That's better than I would have been able to do.
Secret Latina. And I actually got to meet Zoraida recently as we did an author interview event. She was amazing. You can actually go ahead and catch that on the city's Facebook page. But this book in particular is really special because it is a magical realism book, which means that it is set in like the world that we live in, but with like magical elements. So it's not like off in like Hobbit land. It's like New York City. And in the case of this book, Ecuador.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So Deputy Jensen was telling me before we started that he really loves a good spicy novel. Would you say that this book is suitable for all family members, and is it something he would enjoy?
Okay. I would not call it spicy.
It's like a mild? Is it a mild to medium?
There's like maybe one or two pages that have a little bit of, you know, this program is for adults. I should put that out there. We don't say that teens and kids can't read it, but it is meant to be something because we have a community that is full of adults that are essentially like lugging their kids and doing everything for their kids. And the library is like, how about we do something for you?
Nice. Yeah, that's absolutely great. So, you mentioned the kids. Are there activities that are associated with One Story, One City that go along with this book?
Yeah, so we do one craft activity every week. The one this week is a really cool thing. The trees are a big theme in the book, and you're doing wire wrapping to make a tree pendant with crystals on it. I couldn't go to the craft last night because I had a meeting and I was so sad. But we have one later this week as well, and we also have more going next week. So there's a shadow box craft, there's this really cool bowl making, a trinket dish. But the other fun things outside of crafting, because we all, well, I would say we all love crafting, but some people maybe don't. We have an afternoon where we're going to be having an instructor come for cumbia and salsa dancing.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah,
That's what Deputy Jensen is about right there. Okay, that's awesome.
We're going to have a genealogy event because it's this book has a family that is spread out. It's a huge family and they all come together. So we're having a genealogy workshop. We're going to have a rose reading because flowers also take place. Rose reading is kind of
fortune telling?
It is a fortune telling, using rose petals. I haven't seen it done before, but I think it would be very cool. So,
So out of all these things you're talking about, what are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh, well, I mean, getting to talk to the author was definitely a highlight for me. However, I'm going to agree with the deputy. I'm looking forward to dancing.
I feel like a partner is happening here.
Yeah. Technically, I'll be working, but I can dance and work.
You can shake it while you work it.
That's incredible, and we'll have to do a follow-up.
Yes,
on that.
absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
all right.
So, okay, One Story, One City. Let's go back to the city's program a little bit. It's a phenomenal event. Why do you think it's so important that the city even focuses on something like this?
Yeah, well, for one thing, books, they are individual experiences often. You open it, you read it, it has an effect on you, and maybe your worldview changes, maybe you cry a little, maybe you laugh a little, or maybe you're angry and you toss it across the room. I'm not going to say that I've done that, but I have. It wasn't a library book.
Confessions of the library. Okay, good.
And so, what we like to do with this is take something that can be such an immersive personal experience and make it a community event. We like to call it a community conversation because we do have conversations at a book club. Speaking of which, we are actually having a Spanish language book club for anyone who wants to participate in that. And it gives a shared story for people who are maybe coming from different parts of the town, different walks of life, an 18-year-old and a 90-year-old. We can bring them all together and create a new place where they get to experience some community. And because it's a special once-a-year event, it gives them a little bit more chance to be oh, I can't miss that.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. So where can people go to get more information?
Yes, our website is going to be santaclaritalibrary.com/OSOC. Nice and simple.
And also, there's a lot of great content on social media. And I don't know how to cumbia, but there was one post where there was some salsa dancing happening.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I hope there are many social media posts after this event. That's wonderful.
We all do.
Morgan Lazo, thank you so much from the city of Santa Clarita. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Of course. It's been great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Compared to the thousands of students that live in this valley, all of our own emotions and problems can seem insignificant. What are we if another stressed out, overworked student in a sea of misunderstood adolescents? True that most of the time they aren't really extreme worries like paying the bills or feeding a family, it's still something that's too much of a person of our age to handle. You have every reason to feel valid in your struggles. There's no shame in struggling. It doesn't matter if it's having a difficult time with a friend or a hard time in your family, deciding on which college to go to, if any at all. You are always valid. The worst thing you can do for yourself is decide that you are not worthy of growth, because at the end of those long, exhausting days, it is you that decides to take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself looks different for everybody. Coming home and taking a mental health day can be great, but for some people, our issues are a bit bigger than that. There are so many resources available for you to use at your school, such as your Serenity Space, your campus social worker. These are great, simple solutions, as sometimes other professional help can be hard to ask for, let alone be very expensive. You can also always ask for help using your school's student care line. While all of these things can help, it is the mindset of change that truly helps us get to the place we all strive to be at. Jim Rohn once said that your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. And change doesn't have to be all on your own. It is a path we all work on together. Allow yourself patience and the mindset of the journey and not the destination.
And welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. It is always a good day when we get to introduce an incredible animal looking for a loving home.
And today's special guest is sure to steal some hearts. Joining us from Golden Years Dog Sanctuary is Susan Friendla Turner, along with Conductor, a big German Shepherd looking for his forever home. Oh, thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing this guy.
Oh, I'm always glad to be here. Thank you so much for letting me showcase my wonderful dogs that need homes.
And well, before we talk more about Conductor, remind us about Golden Years Dog Sanctuary and what you do.
So Golden Years Dog Sanctuary is a 501c3 nonprofit. We are located in Sylmar up in Cagle Canyon. We incorporated in 2017, and since we have been a dog sanctuary, we've saved over 300 dogs. At our sanctuary, we can have 18 dogs, and we always have 18 dogs, and they live mostly together in our like half-acre backyard, and then they have the whole rest of the 9 acres to run around in during the day. We also have foster, since we want to save, there's so many dogs out there. We have a foster program. We have over 35 dogs in foster right now.
Wow.
And so we're always looking for people who want to foster for us, volunteer for us, or adopt wonderful dogs. And we take all senior dogs. Well, we mostly take senior dogs, but we get accidents like him.
Okay, so let's talk about Conductor. Since
come over here, be the star, and come out
it's
here.
Your moments, buddy.
Come here, Conductor.
He's like, there was a tree on the floor at some point.
So this guy was at the West Valley shelter. His name was Zeus. The shelter, the owner surrender paper said he was 9. The shelter said he was 7. Someone reached out to us and said, we'd love to foster this dog. Will you pull him? And we said yes. Unfortunately, as much as she loved him to death, she lived in a small apartment and she just couldn't give him the space that he needed to run around. So when we had space, we had to take him back at our sanctuary. Unfortunately, because he's a little high energy and we already have a bunch of high energy dogs, it's just too much of a risk for us to keep him with everybody else because we're worried about fights. So he lives now in a 400 square foot kennel. He gets out twice a day. He goes on half-hour walks. He goes up and down the hills. He loves it. He's super happy. But, like all shepherds, he loves being with people. He loves playing with his toys. And we just want him to get a home. I mean, it breaks my heart every day to see him not being able to be in a home or be with all the other dogs. He does get along with other dogs, so he could be with other dogs. But, we have 5 alpha males already in our backyard, and to put him in the backyard is just too much of a risk because he gets really hyper and then he wants to jump on the dogs. So if he had like one dog that he lived with that was his energy, that'd be great. He'd be good as an only dog. He loves going on hikes. He loves going on runs. He loves car rides. He loves his toys like crazy. He's he's 9 or 8 or 7 or whatever he is, but he's really like 4 years old.
And look at those ears. And that's what's getting me. It's the 1 ear up, 1 ear down. So do you think he would be good with kids?
So far, he's been good. I mean, we don't have a lot of kids on our property, but I have one of my employees has a 4-year-old son, and he plays with that son, and he's fine, and he's been around other children, and he's been good. He can play rough, though, because he's a big dog. So, obviously, he'd probably be best with middle school kids and above. And like I said, he'd be great as an only dog. He'd love to have a yard and someone who's active, wants to go hiking or running, play with him. He loves to play fetch. I have some videos I've sent you guys of him playing with his, he loves his dolphin, and he has all animal toys. It's really funny. A dolphin, a porcupine,
and
a
I
squirrel.
want to ask you something, because people, you're worried about home security. People have the Ring cameras and everything. What do you think this guy would do for home security? Do you think anybody would break in with this guy there?
Oh, yeah, nobody's going to come in when he's around.
No, not at all. Conductor is a beast. He looks amazing. He's so handsome. I love the ear. One of the things, too, I know when everybody says, I'm going to go get a puppy, like, I want to go shopping for a puppy.
Why?
What is it with senior dogs? What do we need to know? What can we remind the community of? Senior dogs, they get overlooked so much. What's the benefit?
They are wonderful. I mean, you get a puppy, they don't know anything. They're not housebroken, they're not potty trained, they don't go on a leash, they're gonna chew on everything, they don't have any manners, they haven't had any experiences in life, whereas an older dog, they've been down the road, they've had experiences, and that makes them so much more grateful when they get someone who says, I'm gonna give you a home. They're just happy. There's nothing better than to see a dog like the first or second day after we get them out of the shelter, they sleep like they've never slept before because they just know they're finally safe and in a home where they're going to be loved.
Yeah.
And senior dogs are not what people think. I mean, they're not. I do have some dogs that are really old and creaky and on lots of medication, but more of my senior dogs, 10, 11, 12 years old, you would never guess that they're that old because they still have a lot of energy. But they're past the puppy dog stage. I mean, they're still a playful stage. Like I said, he loves to play with toys, but he doesn't destroy things. And you don't have to, he's leash trained and things like that. So there's a lot of advantages to getting a dog that's older that's been around. And, we started our whole sanctuary because nobody wanted the senior dogs. Nobody wanted the old and the sick dogs. And so, our goal was to get the dogs that nobody else wants.
Well, and you mentioned that you've had other dogs there now that are also looking for homes. Give us a quick rundown of who else is staying with you.
I have Cutter. He is amazing. He's an 11-year-old black and white pit bull. My husband calls him Spots. He is 11 going on 4 or 5. He's super playful. Him and Clyde play tug of war with the toys all the time. Unfortunately, Clyde always wins. And so he's male and he's neutered and he's super healthy, not on any medications. We'd love to get him in a home. And then Clyde is the other one. Clyde is our hippo pit bull. He's 5 years old. We pulled him because the shelter said he was 11. And when I took him to the vet, my vet just laughed and said, have you looked at this dog's teeth? Have you looked at his eyes? Maybe 5. And he is super playful and they all get along. Cutter and Clyde are best buddies. They play all together all the time. They go on walks all the time. And he's been on walks out with the other dogs and he goes with the other dogs and he's good. I just think day to day, it might just be too much for him, living with all our dogs. So he's our most critical. He is our most urgent dog to get a home. Yeah, he's just so great. And he loves his butt scratches.
Who doesn't, right?
Seriously.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Hey, bud.
So if people want to find out more about the dogs or to meet Conductor, how can they get a hold of you and set up a time to come visit?
Well, unlike a lot of... you can't take that.
Is the pillow a toy?
It's not a toy.
Is the pillow a big toy?
I was just saying how big dogs don't play with little things they're not supposed to. Anyway, so our website is goldenyearsdogsanctuary.com and our email is goldenyearsdogsanctuary@yahoo.com. My cell phone is on the website, and I actually answer my phone, unlike most rescues. Not always, but most of the time. I always return calls, though. But, I live on the property, and we're pretty much there 24/7, so people can just make an appointment and come see him, come meet the other dog. We would love it if somebody was interested and wanted to take him, for a weekend. Try him out, see what he's like. You can't do that at the shelter, right? That's true. And that's, you ask about the advantage. One of the advantages of taking dogs from a rescue versus a shelter is we've already seen them in a home. We know what they're like. You can take them and try them out, And I talked to someone the other day about adopting one of our dogs, and they said, well, we really want to save a dog from the shelter. And I said, so do I. So if you take this dog, I can go save another dog from the shelter.
Exactly.
And it's probably going to be one that you wouldn't want anyway. So you are helping. You'll save 2 lives if you adopt him. You'll save his and the next one we can get. And you'll save your own life, so you really save 3 lives.
Oh, well, and I personally love German Shepherds. We had a Sasha.
Look at him, he loves it.
Oh my God.
He loves it.
They're the best dogs, and they're so smart, and they're such good family pets too.
They're really good dogs.
They want to
really
be part of your pack.
They do. They want to be with you. They're super loyal. They're super friendly. Yeah, they're really great dogs. We have probably 6 of them, I think. We have a lot of German Shepherds.
I love it. Well, Conductor, an urgent need. Susan Friendler-Turner from Golden Years Dog Sanctuary, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Thanks for bringing your friends. We love it. And don't forget, there's more than just Conductor available there on their website.
Hi.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wish Education Foundation is a local nonprofit organization that serves nearly 22,000 students of the William S. Hart Union High School District. Headed by Executive Director Amy Daniels and a board of dedicated community members, WISH supports countless programs such as student wellness, arts and music, STEM, special education, and more. The foundation also hosts several popular community events, including Wine on the Roof, Cocktails on the Roof, and Cars Under the Stars. Other local events include the College Webinar Series and the SCV Music Festival. WISH funds programs that state funding alone cannot fully support, and all WISH fundraising stays in the Heart District, benefiting our students since 2012. The WISH Education Foundation is such an important part of Santa Clarita. If you are interested in learning more about their events, volunteering, or donating, please visit www.wisheducationfoundation.org.
Welcome back to SCVTV's Community Corner. So we have something amazing that's going to happen right now. You are here in real life,
Yes.
and you're also in Twisk this week.
Here, and I was the Twisk. Yes.
Talking about pulling to the right. What does that mean?
Pulling to the right is just a general concept we want to educate people on. When they see the lights and sirens flashing in their rearview mirror, they pull to the right and let the emergency vehicles pass. And it doesn't just go for law enforcement, but it also goes for any fire personnel or ambulance vehicles as well.
So I have to ask you, I want to know you personally.
Yes.
You're driving, you flip the lights and sirens. What is the worst thing someone in front of you has done?
Gosh, there's been a lot of instances, and I understand everybody's, there's a lot of distractions while you're driving, right? You've got your music, you've got your kids, whatever it may be. The most difficult thing for us as law enforcement and as any emergency vehicle operator, people just slam on their brakes. I mean, it is insane. And it's so difficult to predict because you would expect people to turn to the right or try to pull to the right at least, but the people that just slam on their brakes and say, you can go around me because I have to make a left turn or whatever. I wish people knew, we're not just flipping on those lights and sirens just because. We're being ordered to by our dispatch because there's an emergency that requires our attention. And we don't know if that's a bank robbery or a baby not breathing call. And it's a severe issue, and we're limited in what we can do now, especially with our vehicles and how many deputies can respond with their lights and sirens. So if you see a deputy or a fire truck or an ambulance with their lights and sirens on, they're the chosen unit to get to that emergency first.
So you need to pull to the right.
Please.
And let's watch the Twisk so you can tell us even more about pulling to the right.
Perfect. Just wanted to remind you of what to do when you see an emergency vehicle in your rearview mirror. Anytime you're driving on our Santa Clarita roads and you identify that there's a police, fire, or ambulance behind you, please make sure you safely and quickly pull over to the right. Use your turn signal and let the emergency vehicles pass you. What I don't want you to do is slam on your brakes or stop in the middle of an intersection. For everyone's safety, please make sure you continue through the intersection and then pull over to the right when it's safe to do so. For more information and driver safety tips, you can visit the link below. Thanks, Santa Clarita. Stay safe.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to tune in next week and every week for another episode of SCVTV's Community Corner.
You can check out all of our past episodes and segments at scvcommunitycorner.com or our Facebook at SCV Community Corner.
Thanks so much for watching.
We'll see you guys next time.
At SCVTV, we believe in the power of television to inspire, educate, and unite our community. But we can't do it alone. Donate today, and together we can continue to create meaningful content and provide next-generation workforce opportunities.